as part of a plan to trace COVID-19. School officials shelving that program last night after so much pushback from parents saying, quote, "We will not put them back into place at all. We are going to allow the coaches and the parents to make the decision." Here to react is mother of an Eatonton High School volleyball player, Nikki Hadman, and radio host and former Seattle City Council candidate, Ari Hoffman. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Good morning. So, Nikki, how did you hear about it? I know you have a big problem with it. How did you hear about it?
I dropped my daughter off at practice on Monday for volleyball, and she had sent me a text saying, "Hey, Mom, they're putting an ankle monitor on me. This is really weird." So that is how I found out.
So then you drove to the school, and what happened next?
I drove to the school and confronted the athletic director, Gavin, and he did tell me he indeed did put a tracking monitor on my child. He apologized and said that he would speak with the coach that did it. It was very short and sweet. There was no answers for who was accountable for it, what repercussions there were, and there was no consent. I had not signed consent, and he really didn't have any other answers besides an apology.
You know, as a parent, if you hear your child has a tracking device on them, usually your child is in prison, right? Or out of prison and being watched by the government. So, Ari, I know you broke this story. How'd you hear about it?
Well, what happened was Nikki actually posted a picture of the tracking device on social media. One of my listeners called me and said, "Ari, have you seen this thing?" I checked it out. I got in touch with Nikki right away, but also what I did was I called a friend of mine who was a member of the Eatonville School Board. And I spoke to them and I said, "Is this happening?" And the school board was just as surprised as anybody else. They knew this program was being considered, but they didn't know it had been implemented. It seems that the superintendent of the school and the athletic director took it on themselves in order to implement this program, and the school board had no idea it was actually finalized and in the works at the school itself.
Nikki, I know you've received backlash. What are people saying?
They're just upset that I'm taking away children's football season, which is absolutely not what I'm trying to do. If these parents want to have these tracers on their children, that's their deal, not mine. My child is absolutely not wearing one, and I would never okay that. And I was not given a choice whether she was going to wear it or not, and I think that is completely wrong and absolutely horrifying.
Well, Ari, the community spoke out, and now they have implemented this change. Now it's up to the coaches and to the teachers. Have you been talking about this on radio, and what are your listeners saying?
We spoke about it the last few days because it's not just the volleyball team. The football team was originally who was supposed to have these on, and these devices were designed for construction helmets. They were designed for manufacturing workers. They were not designed for schools. And when you go to the company's website, it doesn't say anything about schools at all. So people are blown away by this because they wonder if this was a pilot program for the state, if this means that they were thinking about putting these in the classroom, not just for the athletes. People have a lot of concerns. Also, they're thinking about football players with these things on their legs, wrestlers, volleyball teams. What if they trip? What if they fall? What if it starts making a beeping noise? They're distracted during a contact sport. There's a lot of liability things here, and it seems like nobody was fully consulted with regard to all the pros and cons of this, and it wasn't a transparent process, and they're wondering what's next.
Yeah, and I'm sure a lot of money was forked out to pay for these devices, taxpayer dollars. I don't know how, if you're a wrestler, you're on top of each other. So wouldn't it be beeping the whole time?
You would think it would be. And then also think about
players,
this.
you're diving for the ball.
Right, and all of a sudden you get this beeping and somebody's coming at you from the side, you're distracted. I think this could lead to injuries as well.
Okay, Nikki, Ari, thank you so much for coming on this morning.